All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome to another edition of Smart with Your Money Live. My name is Felipe Arevalo. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at Debt Wave Credit Counseling in the San Diego Financial Literacy Center. I am riding solo today, but thank you for joining me. I don't know why the fashion one, I got stuck going solo. As you can see, this is the best I could do, and I borrowed some of this from my wife. So today we're going to do Afterpay and fast fashion. Don't worry, you're not going to get fashion advice from me. But it's that time of year when holiday shopping just kind of sneaks up on us, right? We have Black Friday right around the corner, and the deals have started, the sales have started, which means the spending has started as well. And this year, more than ever, there's a new way of shopping. And it's doing away with some of the traditional layaway options or even credit cards, and it's the buy now, pay later. So before you go out and do your shopping, hopefully you have a budget. Hopefully you've been saving all year and you have the money set aside for all these expenses that are coming up. But if you don't, what are your options? What new technologies that apparently have been around for a while, I just hadn't really paid attention or heard of them before, do you have available to you? So holiday shopping snuck up on you. What options do you have? First, the one fashion thing, and like the gift says here, I'm not the one to be getting fashion advice from, but what is fast fashion? Fast fashion is kind of like the new season, use it for a little bit, not long lasting, and just go through a lot of it. Very consumer based, just mass production, buy a whole bunch of things. But really it's a matter of, you can take some of the things you have, if you buy, you've had them for a while, and kind of accessorize at your own pace. You take the scarf, you remove the scarf, and now you have a new look. And you don't have to borrow your wife's scarf to do that. But it's something where maybe you buy little things that you can accessorize or remove, and as you go, you don't have to partake in the constantly buying this new season's clothes that goes out of fashion or wears out and doesn't really look good after 2 or 3 washes. So there are ways you can take part in fashion and just kind of switch things around and switch your look, and things that you could use over and over. Switch the accessory. I have more scarves, but I think I'm not going to put any more on because it is warm. And just kind of avoid the overspending when you can. But sometimes you got to go buy something. And what is Afterpay and other buy now, pay later apps? So there's a whole new segment of spending, and it's basically you buy the item now and you pay for it later, sometimes with interest, sometimes without interest, depends on which one you're looking at. There are different options out there. Afterpay is one of them. It's one of the major ones, but there are other ones out there. There's a handful of them. And before the end of the presentation, I'll just kind of give you some of the things to look out for on each one of these. But what is it? And do you even really want to know what it is? Because I know in my younger years of not budgeting, it would have been a negative thing to have some of these things available, because it would have opened up the opportunity to overspend. So it's really a matter of, what are they, and can they be used to your benefit? Yes, like a lot of things, personal finances, if you use them correctly, they can help out. If you misuse them or you allow those to be the reason that you don't follow your budget, then it becomes harder to do. And then it becomes something where it can get you into financial trouble. And it's important to understand how they work. I'll do my best to explain them here. Obviously, each one's going to have little nuances to each one, and they're all a little bit different, but for the most part they all act the same way. There's an item, you buy the item, you pay later. You can pay in 4 payments where you make one at the purchase point. You can sometimes spread it out more depending on the amounts, depending on everything else, but it's really something for these slightly bigger ticket items, although I've seen them for really just almost any price point. And it's a point of sale loan that you get, because you get it when you're making the purchase. And again, they're all different. So try and stick with me as we go. So you can accessorize your fashion as you go as well. See, there's a completely different look right there. And move things around. So is it a credit card? No, it's not a credit card. And it's something where, although some you may need a credit card to use, which we'll get to that in a little bit, it's not a credit card where you can go grab it and go shopping and go do your thing. Is there a chance that it might get declined? Yes, with some of these, with a lot of these, your purchase has to be approved. So there's still that little bit of fear at the checkout line, but it's not a credit card. You know, you can't just go use it to pump gas, as far as I know, most of these, but you can use them online. You can use them at the store using your handy dandy device, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, whatever one you use. But it's not a traditional credit card that you carry around in your purse or your wallet. So, you know, keep that in mind. It doesn't work the same way. You know, you go buy a purchase on your credit card and then you make those payments, you're gaining payment history. You are, you know, helping your credit as you go with that positive payment history. Obviously, you don't want to carry a big balance because that can hurt your, you know, depending on your debt to credit ratio. But you are getting the payment history with a traditional credit card. That's not so much the case with these afterpays. You know, yes, you may not accrue interest depending on which one you use, but you're also not helping your credit as you go. So there's that little bit of a drawback also. So is it layaway? No. And actually large retailers like Walmart have decided they've done away with layaway and they've switched to a buy now, pay later option, like Afterpay or one of these other ones, depending on which retailer you go to. And your traditional layaway, as some of us remember as kids, is you go in way before the holidays. Your parents would put something on layaway and then they'd pay it off. You know, it was a good financial tool. I remember it when I was younger. But you basically made payments leading up to the purchase, and then you would get the item once it was paid off, which, you know, is kind of like putting money in a savings account. Once you have the cash, go buy it type of approach. And it's something that has been around for a long time, but it's slowly disappearing. It may not be available for much longer. And some retailers already have done away with it, like including big ones like Walmart. So do you shift to the buy now, pay later? Do you use a credit card? Do you save on your own? Because you can do your own layaway. You can figure out how much something is going to cost, open up an account for those items, and then start whenever you need to start putting that money away. It's something we recommend a lot. Start planning for the holidays or those expensive birthdays, anniversaries, or whatever it is a year in advance. We know when the holidays are coming up. You know about how much money you spend every year. Start saving that money ahead of time and do your own layaway. Put money away in a savings account. And that way, when it's time to go shopping, you show up with the cash and you've already saved it. There's no interest, there's no debt. You can do your own layaway, but the traditional layaway at the store is going by the wayside. So you may not have that option going forward. So, you know, it's something where be aware. If that's something that you've used over the years, it may not be available going forward. So it won't affect my credit, right? Yes and no. This is where it gets confusing. Some of them don't require a credit check, and you can go and sign up for them, usually with the ones that offer lower amounts, but they don't require a credit check. And you can get one and use it without ever having effect on your credit. Now, if you miss payments, if you're unable to pay them on time, most of them have stipulations where they will then report to your credit that you still owe them money. So it's something that, will it affect your credit? Potentially no, but potentially yes, depending on how it goes, depending on, you know, if you can pay it on time and which service you use, because some of them will do a credit inquiry, in which case, you know, that's a credit inquiry, it's a hard inquiry, you know, that could affect your credit just right off the bat. But some of them will report to your credit, some of them won't. So it really depends on which one you select. Make sure if you're going to take advantage of one of these, And you do your research. Are they going to report? Are they going to pull your credit? Are they going to be linked to a credit card? Are they not going to be linked to a credit card? And just be cautious, because if you don't pay, most of them will hurt your credit, just like a credit card would, just like a loan would. But at the end of the day, they want to make sure that they get paid. So keep it in mind as you go. So no interest means no fees? No. And some of them do have interest, and most of them have some kind of fee structure in place if you miss payments, if you reschedule payments, if you don't pay it off in the time frame. And some of those fees can be expensive. So maybe no interest, and you go into it thinking, this is great, it's free money. But like anything else, read the fine print, find out what the fees can be. How much can you get charged? How much, what's the maximum? What does the charges look like? Are there any ways to go work your way around it? So I'm going to remove the tie now because, fashion, right? And this is something where a tie you can add or subtract to any outfit. And this is a lot less coordinated than I anticipated, so I apologize for that. But it's something where, you can accessorize, or like Jim there, wear your tie like I had it, not really properly, but you're wearing the tie. So do they help you budget? That's the big question. What are they going to do to your personal finances? Is it something where, is it a good thing for personal finances? Is it a negative thing? Like everything else, it depends on how you use them. If this is something you use from time to time and you are able to stay within your budget, and maybe you were saving to buy the new, did you use it for anything? You're saving to buy a new iPad for school or something, and you were almost there, but you didn't quite get there when your previous iPad, laptop, whatever it is you're replacing, stopped working. You can go ahead and use them in the short term, especially if you have, you've already allocated that fund that you're saving every month, and break it down and not carry a balance on your credit cards, and use it to your advantage. Help you budget, help you break that cost down over the next few weeks. If you can do that, yeah, it could help your budget, help break down that big purchase. Now, what happens a lot with this, just like it would with credit cards, is you're in the store, you're looking at the item, and you say, it's only $50 today. And then a few more payments of $50. Let's buy it. I can do that, right? And you're at the next store, and you're like, well, those shoes look real cool. And it's only $34. And then a few more payments later, I'll take those. I got $34. Let's do this, right? And now you're looking at it. You didn't just spend $50 plus $34. Now I've messed up because I picked not really hard, but I picked hard math numbers. So now you spent $84. You didn't just spend $84. You also spent the rest of that amount, and it's just, you just spread it out over the next 6 weeks, month, whatever it is. And then anytime in that time period you go buy something else, now you've added to it. So it becomes easy to overspend. It becomes something where, it may seem like a good idea, but if you aren't paying attention, you can get carried away, and $50 here adds up to the $30 there, to the $20 over there. And before you know it, you've spent more than you had available. And now you're in a problem where for the next 6 weeks, months, whatever it is, you're stuck trying to pay back those purchases. So I would always suggest save ahead of time, do your own little layaway type thing, and not, fall into it. So who uses them the most? Might not surprise you that younger people use them the most. So it's something that, the younger generations have. You'll see it's getting more popular too. It's gone from the Gen Zs from 6% to 36%. The millennials, us millennials, 17% to 41%. And even the Gen X and the baby boomers are getting in on the fun. So everyone uses them, but those younger generations are more likely, a higher percentage of them are actually using these kinds of technologies. And you'll see in the 2 years from 2019 to 2021, that percentage of people who use it increased by a lot. So it's gaining popularity, and that could be financial trouble if it's not used properly. And these are worldwide technologies. They're in other countries as well. So younger generations, look out. Maybe you're avoiding credit card debt, which is great, but just be careful you don't fall into debt with a lot of these other ones. So here are some of the more popular ones that I was able to find online. There are obviously others. And some of the things to look out for. Afterpay, which we titled it after, but the late fee on Afterpay could be up to 25%. There's another one called Affirm. No fees, no interest, but interest, and the interest can be up to 30%, which is worse than most credit cards. Sometimes there's no interest, sometimes there's 10%, or there's 30. Again, you got to do your research. This other one allows you to reschedule payments, but a rescheduling of a payment is going to cost you $5 every time you got to reschedule, if you have to reschedule for whatever reason. This one right here, Split It, uses, it's actually linked to your Visa or MasterCard credit card, and it uses that to pay for things and incorporate it. It's a little confusing, but you have to have a credit card and available credit to use it. You have Prepay, which you have to shop from their marketplace, so limited selection of items, compared to just going around anywhere else. PayPal is in the game as well, with their Pay in 4, but it's a maximum of $600 and not available in all states. And then, the last one there requires a credit check and approval. A lot of these will actually require approval at the point of sale for any given transaction. Just a few of the things to look for. Whichever one you pick, if you decide to go that route, please do your research, read the fine print, and make sure that you find the one that's best for you. Any questions or concerns? Hopefully this was informational. Hopefully it didn't motivate you to go out and get one of these and overspend. That was not the intended the intention of it. But hopefully this will, if you are using this technology, allow you to make better decisions. And remember your budget. Please remember your budget. Just because Layaway isn't there doesn't mean you can't do it on your own. And just because you're only spending $50, $20, $30, whatever it is right now, doesn't mean you're not going to spend the full amount. And it doesn't mean that that full amount isn't going to take away from other things in your budget. Any questions? All right. Well, you always continue learning. We have our podcast available, new episodes every Friday. This Fridays, we talk to a divorce attorney on divorce and finances, but a whole bunch of different episodes available. Get it wherever you get your other favorite podcasts, and then join us. It's actually not in 2 weeks. I know usually if you join us all the time, you're used to seeing these come out every 2 weeks, but that would be the day before Thanksgiving. So we decided you guys probably aren't going to show up for a Smart with Your Money Live because it's personal finances and Thanksgiving is fun and might not be the go-to, but we are back in a month, December 8th, for budgeting apps and alternative ways to budget. See that? We're going from one type of app to the next, and different ways to budget. December 8th, we're back with a brand new Swim Live. And then stick around a week after that, actually, we're doing a crossover event because those are fun on TV. They're probably fun on here also, where we will be recording a Talk Wealth to Me episode live on Swim Live. So stick around for that. Obviously, more information and registration on the DebtWave website and on Eventbrite. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And since we won't be back before Thanksgiving, hope you have a great, safe Thanksgiving with your loved ones. Thank you and have a great day.